I went to the UK and I came back to Jamaica about 20 years ago. And having been exposed to the animal loving and everything that they have in the UK, I grew up in a very animal loving home as well. When I came back here, I found a dog that had been lying on the ground with a broken back, and everybody was just, well, just leave it, you know. And I couldn't, so I picked it up and I took it to old Dr. Bryan, bless his heart, and he euthanized her for me. And I asked him, you know, what's going on? You know, everything I saw, and I actually went to work with a company that were working with horses. I noticed that there was a lack of compassion and caring, and I didn't necessarily believe it was through cruelty. I just thought it was through an education. So myself and my friends got together and we decided to do a massive spay-neuter program involving world vets right here in Montego Bay, and this was in 2009. And I had to register to be able to get World Vets to come over as a charity, as a non-profit, to be able to be allowed to have this program. So I did. I had no intention of it carrying on and being what it is. And the surgery was a tremendous success. So many people turned out. So many people understood and wanted to help their animals, but they weren't in a position or able to afford the treatment, basically the spaying and neutering, which is so expensive, but so necessary because it stops dogs and cats breeding, and they breed very fast, as we all know. So I was actually left with a busload of dogs from Negril, a busload. Somebody had hired a bus, filled it with dogs, and brought it to the clinic, and then off they went. And the haven was born. Because they all had to come back to my house. I have watched over the last 12 years the amazing evolution of people here with their love and compassion, and realizing that we don't reserve it just for the animals. By teaching people and showing people, you know, how amazing these animals are, it teaches them to be more compassionate and think more lovingly towards their fellow people. And it's been one heck of a roller coaster, that's all I can tell you. I think one of the most unusual was picking up a donkey and putting it into the back of my RAV4, which was quite a feat. And we transported that donkey. We've actually transported 2 donkeys, one from St. Elizabeth and one from Hopewell. Pigs, we've rescued pigs. Do you remember the church thing up in Norwood, whatever it was? We had a cow that didn't fit in the RAV, but we got that down. That was quite a tremendous rescue. But we had ducks, chickens, everything. Basically, any animal that needs our help. We don't just want to take the animal and then look after it. We want to help people look after them. That's the whole Overmind thing. My dream is the animal therapy, going into hospitals with the animals to help. We've worked with mustard seed, with those amazing children, putting them on horses and giving them mobility. To me, if we can do more through the children and the animals, and even the elderly, you know, because a lot of them are very lonely, to be able to give them some company and some purpose. We'd worked with a group called Save Our Scruffs from Canada, and they're just incredible. They help animals from all over the world. And I thought, I wonder if they wouldn't help us in Jamaica. So I reached out to Jenna, who runs it, and I said, we need to send you a plane load of dogs, because otherwise we have to euthanize them because we cannot afford to feed them. And when you put so much into rescuing an animal, to have to kill it is nuts. So I rang her and she said, Tammy, we're going to make this happen. And they did.
If you were to prioritize your achievements, what would your top 5 be?
The flight to Canada, absolutely. That was unbelievable. We held an amazing spay and neuter clinic in Treasure Beach with help from the Tourism Enhancement Fund. Toyota gave me a car, a RAV4, which is the best thing I've ever driven. I love it. That was pretty major. Being able to get into schools, you know, like, so if you can remember when I started this, you know, I would call the schools and ask if we could bring in animals, and it was like, not a chance. Now, you've got people are open to the ideas.
What would your top 5 bucket list be?
Oh, I really want to be able to open what we do almost like as a tour. it actually has a twofold purpose, all right? The first fold is to expose people to these animals and to see just how beautiful they are, and they're all thrown away and now they look just amazing. And to do the tour, we have a beautiful piece of land, 28 acres above Hopewell, with a river and a waterfall, and it's so good when you've got all the craziness of life, to be able to go there and just get back to nature and walk with the dogs, and it's beautiful. I really want that. And also, the more people that come and see it who are able to do it, the more people might adopt. And then we'll have more dogs going out, which will be amazing. Spaying and neutering affordable for everybody. I want to be able to have a mobile bus that will go around the island, not just to the tourism areas, which I know is important because of the image and whatever, but right up into the communities and into the rural communities, and helping everybody to do this, and to just, like, because I've honestly, every single person, even when we start off with, like, somebody comes over and they're like, why are you helping the dog and you're not helping the people and all the rest of it, and by the time you just sit and speak to people, they just change, and it's not an evilness, it's not a wickedness, it's just they need to know.